An enigmatic prophecy by a blind fairy goddess about the year 2025 has been discovered, warning of terrifying events that governments are secretly preparing for. From strange signs in the universe to dangerous discoveries beneath the Antarctic ice, can humanity face these changes? Let's explore the chilling predictions in the article below. Unveiling the final prophecy of a blind fairy goddess. The prophecies of the blind fairy goddess are more than just cryptic predictions. They offer a sacred warning for humanity, a beacon of light that calls us to awaken and confront our future. According to the records, her final prophecy speaks of significant upheavals around the year 2025, events that will forever alter the course of history. But what makes these predictions truly compelling is not just their foretelling of future events, but their eerie accuracy, often linking them to natural, political, and cosmic occurrences. Her visions are said to have been received in a state of spiritual clarity, revealing signs in the universe that would come to pass. From the alignment of distant celestial bodies to unusual patterns of storms and anomalies in the sky, the goddess was able to foresee not only the downfall of certain political structures, but also the rising tensions between global powers. As with many prophecies throughout history, the significance of her words is not always fully understood at the time they are spoken. Many historians and scientists have speculated on the reasons why these prophecies were kept hidden from the public. Some believe that governments across the world, fearful of the power these predictions held, intentionally suppressed them to maintain control. Others speculate that these visions were seen as too radical, too dangerous to be allowed into public discourse. Yet as we approach the year 2025, the truth behind her words seems poised to emerge, forcing us to grapple with the implications of what she foretold. The secrecy surrounding these prophecies only adds to their weight. The fact that such powerful knowledge has been concealed raises the question, what is the true purpose of this information? Could it be that the world's leaders are aware of something crucial about the future that they have chosen to keep from the public, for fear of mass panic or political chaos? As we approach the year she predicted, the urgency of these questions grows stronger, urging us to question the foundations of our society and our place in the cosmos. As we begin to see signs of the impending upheavals, extreme weather patterns, economic instability, and rising global tensions, the prophecy's warning becomes clearer. It serves as a reminder that we are not mere spectators of fate. We have the power to change the course of our history, but we must first recognize the signs and act with foresight and purpose. Strange prophets through the ages. Throughout history, there have been individuals who have claimed the ability to foresee the future, prophets whose visions often defied explanation, but who had remarkable insights into global events long before they occurred. Some of these figures, like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga, are widely recognized and have left lasting legacies of predictions that still capture the imagination of people around the world. Nostradamus, for example, is famous for his cryptic quatrains that seem to have predicted everything from the rise of Napoleon to the advent of modern-day terrorism. His words have been used to explain various global events, sometimes with startling accuracy. Yet, while his predictions have been widely cited, they remain shrouded in mystery, with many of his writings open to a wide range of interpretations. Baba Vanga, the blind prophet from the Balkans, is another figure whose predictions have made a lasting impact. Her most famous prophecy, which predicted the attacks on the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, was confirmed to be true long before the event occurred. Her ability to foresee such catastrophic events, combined with her humble background, has led many to believe that her insights were far beyond mere coincidence. But beyond these two well-known figures, there is another prophet whose influence has been deliberately erased from the collective memory. The blind fairy goddess, whose prophecies have only now come to light, was one of the most accurate and insightful seers of her time. Unlike many other so-called prophets, her predictions were not vague or open to interpretation. Instead, they were direct, specific, and linked to global events, making them all the more unsettling. Her prophecies were so accurate and so dangerous that they were classified by governments as national security threats. Her warnings were not just abstract predictions, but practical, actionable insights that pointed directly to societal and political changes that were destined to shake the world to its core. These prophecies were so powerful that they were hidden away, their existence denied or ignored by those in positions of power. What makes her prophecies so compelling is not only their accuracy, but their relevance to our current global situation. As the world faces a range of challenges, political instability, economic collapse, and climate change, many of the events she predicted seem to be unfolding before our eyes. This has led some experts to reconsider the possibility that these prophets were not just delusional figures, but individuals with a unique insight into the future, one that is still beyond the grasp of most of humanity. The Prophecy of the Blind and Predictions for 2025. In 2023, the discovery of a trove of prophecies at a secluded monastery in Bulgaria shocked the world. The writings, believed to be the work of the blind fairy goddess, contained detailed predictions for the year 2025, offering a chilling glimpse into the future. These prophecies were not just vague, poetic verses. They were concrete, grounded in reality, and described events that would shape the global landscape. Although the prophet passed away in 1982, her messages continue to resonate, serving as urgent warnings about the events that will unfold in the coming years. As experts and researchers begin to decode the remaining fragments of her writings, it becomes increasingly clear that these prophecies were far from mere imagination. They are, in fact, a roadmap to the future, a future that seems to be arriving sooner than expected. The nature of her prophecies is disturbing in its precision. They speak not only of political and economic upheavals, but also of environmental catastrophes and technological breakthroughs that could revolutionize the way we live. The emerging global shifts, climate change, the rise of authoritarianism, and the development of AI and quantum computing are all events that seem to align perfectly with her predictions. Her insights into the future are not just warnings, they are calls to action. The year 2025 represents a critical point in human history, a time when humanity must confront the consequences of its actions. Will we heed the warnings and take steps to avert disaster, or will we continue down the path of destruction? The decisions made in the coming years will determine the course of civilization for generations to come. Predictions for 2025 and discoveries beneath Antarctica. One of the most remarkable moments in the prophet's predictions occurred in 1973 when she wrote a chilling prophecy. When two giants fall in the New World, that is the beginning. 22 years and 2 years later, great waters will rise, and the sky will burn. These two giants referred to the Twin Towers and the events of 9/11, a tragedy that deeply shocked the world. What makes this prophecy particularly unsettling is that exactly 22 years after that catastrophic day, we witnessed catastrophic floods and extreme atmospheric phenomena, events that left even the most seasoned scientists baffled, unable to fully comprehend or explain the magnitude of these occurrences. These unsettling events appear to have been foreseen, giving even more weight to the prophecy's unsettling accuracy. However, what the prophet saw for the year 2025, according to surviving records, only intensified her sense of dread. The manuscripts detail extreme and cataclysmic events, to the extent that parts of the writings are barely legible, obscured by continuous erasures, as though the writer was deliberately trying to conceal a truth too too vast and too dangerous to be revealed. Some researchers believe that these events are connected to significant archaeological discoveries in Antarctica, where recent excavations have begun to uncover mysteries long hidden beneath the thick ice. These discoveries could alter our understanding of history and the future in profound ways, potentially revealing knowledge that has been lost for millennia. Beyond environmental and climate-related upheavals, the prophet also warned of yet-to-be unveiled scientific revelations that could emerge by 2025. These discoveries, if they come to fruition, would mark a pivotal shift in humanity's comprehension of the world around us, especially regarding what remains hidden beneath the icy surface of Antarctica. As research in the region continues to uncover secrets, it seems as though many of the theories and predictions about the area are slowly becoming a reality, adding a deeper layer of intrigue and anxiety to the prophecies. If confirmed, these revelations could fundamentally reshape the way we understand our past, present, and future, making the events foretold by the prophet even more significant. Warning signs and future shifts. As the blind fairy goddess's prophecy unfolds, it becomes clear that humanity is facing a critical moment in time, a period of profound transition. According to the goddess, these changes won't be subtle but will come with clear and undeniable signs. These signs will not only manifest in the environment, but also in our societal behaviors, the choices we make, and our collective consciousness. For humanity to survive the challenges of the future, we must recognize and act upon these warnings. The first major sign will be technological disruption. The blind fairy goddess foresaw a global revolution in technology, particularly in the areas of artificial intelligence, AI, and quantum computing. As we stand on the brink of breakthroughs in these fields, it is clear that such advancements will redefine our relationship with the world and each other. Quantum computers, capable of processing data far beyond the capabilities of today's machines, may soon allow us to solve complex problems that were previously insurmountable. However, they also pose risks. One of the more unsettling aspects of this revolution is that these technologies could be weaponized by powerful organizations or governments to predict and control human behavior on an unprecedented scale. Imagine a world where every decision you make is foreseen and possibly even manipulated by entities that have access to this level of predictive power. In this new reality, privacy, free will, and democracy itself could be under threat. While technological advances promise solutions to some of humanity's most pressing problems, such as climate change or global inequality, they also present an existential threat. What happens when only a select few possess the means to predict and influence the future? The imbalance of power and control could lead to new forms of oppression and social division. The blind fairy goddess warned that we must be cautious in embracing these technologies, ensuring they are used for the collective good, rather than to entrench the power of the few. The second sign will manifest in our environment. As climate change accelerates, we will see more extreme weather events, from wildfires and heat waves to hurricanes and rising sea levels. These signs have already begun to materialize across the globe, but the goddess prophecy suggests that we are only at the beginning. What's more, the environmental shifts will not merely be a byproduct of human activity. They will be an essential part of the awakening she predicted. The Earth, in its natural cycles, will react to human negligence, challenging us to confront the consequences of our actions and make difficult, potentially life-altering choices. Environmental destruction is already showing signs of accelerating. We are losing biodiversity, the oceans are becoming increasingly polluted, and extreme weather patterns are devastating cities and communities. If humanity continues its current path of exploitation, the prophecy predicts even more catastrophic events, including mass migrations, the collapse of agricultural systems, and global food shortages. These disruptions will force humanity to confront the reality of its environmental impact. But the final sign, according to the goddess, will be a transformation of human consciousness. As the world faces these unprecedented challenges, there will be a collective awakening where people across the globe will come to realize the interconnectedness of all life. This awakening will shift human priorities, moving from individualism and greed to cooperation and empathy. However, for this transformation to occur, we must first break free from the toxic cycles of consumerism, materialism, and self-interest that dominate much of modern society. The question that remains, however, is whether humanity will heed these warnings in time. Can we change our behavior, adjust our trajectory, and adapt to the changes coming our way? The blind fairy goddess urges us to awaken now, before the signs become impossible to ignore and the consequences irreversible. The decisions we make today will determine whether we survive the coming shift or fall victim to it. Terrifying predictions about technology and the decisive path. The blind fairy goddess's warnings about technology represent one of the most chilling aspects of her prophecies. While technological advances can offer great promise, they also carry the potential for profound destruction, particularly in the hands of those who seek to manipulate and control humanity. According to her prophecy, the rise of quantum computing and artificial intelligence will forever change our world. These technologies will allow certain powerful organizations or governments to predict and even influence the future with frightening accuracy, offering an unprecedented ability to control societies. Imagine a world where AI and quantum machines are capable of analyzing human behavior, forecasting events, and manipulating outcomes. Governments, corporations, and even criminal organizations could use this technology to shape decisions and direct the course of history. The implications of such power are staggering. Could we trust those in charge of these technologies to use them ethically? Would they use their newfound abilities to protect humanity? Or would they exploit them to maintain control over the population? The prophecy warns that this imbalance of power could lead to societal collapse, with an elite few controlling the fate of billions. The most frightening part of the prophecy is the date August 15, 2025, an ominous day that will mark a critical turning point. This date represents a moment when humanity will face an existential choice. Will we embrace the technological advancements that could elevate us to new heights? Or will we succumb to them, allowing technology to control us instead? The consequences of this decision are profound, as it will determine whether technology serves as a tool for liberation or a weapon of oppression. As we approach this pivotal moment, the question of who controls these technologies becomes more urgent. Will we allow a handful of corporations or governments to monopolize these advances? Or will we demand transparency, accountability, and ethical standards in the development and use of AI and quantum computing? These are not questions for the future. They are questions we must confront today. The prophecy also warns about the moral and ethical challenges posed by these technologies. As machines begin to make decisions for us, will we lose our sense of autonomy? Will we become so reliant on algorithms and data predictions that we cease to think critically or make independent choices? The blind fairy goddess urges us to carefully consider these developments, as the path we choose could define humanity's future for centuries to come. From warnings to awakening and crucial choices. The prophecy of the blind fairy goddess doesn't just stop at issuing warnings, it also speaks directly to humanity's capacity for change. While the world faces monumental challenges, the prophecy calls on us not to merely accept these challenges as inevitable, but to take active responsibility for shaping the future. Her messages are not solely about fear. They are, in essence, an invitation to transform and awaken. Humanity is at a critical juncture, where the choices we make now will have far-reaching implications for the world in the coming decades. The awakening of humanity, from passive observers to active shapers of destiny. One of the most powerful elements of this prophecy is its insistence that each individual has a role to play in shaping the future. The prophecy repeatedly urges humanity to shift from being passive observers of global events to active participants in the course of history. We are not merely subjects of fate, but individuals with the power to make decisions that ripple outward, affecting not only our lives but the lives of generations to come. The awakening is not just about recognizing the dangers ahead, but also about embracing the potential for transformation. Humanity is often trapped in old paradigms, clinging to outdated systems that no longer serve us. The prophecy invites us to break free from these limiting structures and to step into a new way of being. This awakening requires us to expand our consciousness, moving beyond materialistic values that have led us down destructive paths and toward a more holistic understanding of our interconnectedness with one another, the planet, and the universe. This shift in consciousness is what will fuel the positive changes the prophecy envisions. It's not just about surviving the challenges ahead, but thriving through them by embracing compassion, collaboration, and unity. The goddess foresees a world where people, recognizing their shared humanity, will come together to create solutions that are beneficial for all. This transformation, however, is a choice, one that requires active participation from everyone, everywhere. The role of collective responsibility. The prophecy calls on humanity to take collective responsibility for the state of the world. Climate change, geopolitical tensions, technological advancement, and social inequities are not isolated issues. They are deeply interconnected, and addressing them will require a unified global effort. The fairy goddess warns that if we continue to live in isolation, whether by focusing on national interests or individual gain, we will fail to address the root causes of these challenges. The illusion of separation, of us versus them, must be shattered if we are to move forward. This collective responsibility is about more than just policy changes or technological innovation. It's about rethinking our values and relationships. The goddess's prophecy emphasizes that the most crucial shift must take place within our hearts and minds. We must recognize that the well-being of the planet and all of its inhabitants is inextricably linked. As we continue to witness natural disasters, resource depletion, and social unrest, we are reminded that no one can remain untouched by these events. We either rise together or we fall apart. The crucial choices we face: political, technological, and spiritual decisions. The prophecy emphasizes that the coming years will require humanity to make critical decisions that will determine the future of our civilization. These decisions will not only be political, but spiritual, technological, and ethical as well. The fairy goddess has warned that these choices will not be easy. They will require courage, wisdom, and a willingness to embrace change. Political choices. The prophecy speaks of a world where the balance of power will shift dramatically, and nations will face difficult decisions about how to cooperate or compete. The political landscape is changing, with rising tensions between global superpowers, growing nationalism, and the erosion of international cooperation. The blind fairy goddess foresaw the dangers of authoritarianism and isolationism, but she also saw the possibility for global collaboration. The choices made by political leaders in the coming years will either lead to peace and prosperity or fuel conflict and division. But these leaders will not act alone. Citizens must demand accountability, push for progressive policies, and demand cooperation on the global stage. Technological choices. The rise of AI, quantum computing, and biotechnology presents both an incredible opportunity and a significant risk. The prophecy warns that technological advancements will outpace our ability to manage them if we are not careful. Humanity is faced with the choice of how to use technology. Will we use it to enhance life? Or will we allow it to control us? Decisions on issues like AI ethics, privacy, surveillance, and the role of artificial intelligence in government and business will shape the future. These decisions are not just for technologists or policymakers. They are for everyone, as the implications of these choices will affect all aspects of society. Spiritual choices. The spiritual awakening referenced in the prophecy goes hand in hand with the collective responsibility humanity must take. The goddess foresees that the time for surface-level materialistic values is coming to an end, and a deeper spiritual awakening must take its place. This does not necessarily mean religious awakening, but rather a shift toward values that prioritize sustainability, empathy, and compassion. The individual and collective choices to live in alignment with these values will shape the world we inherit. People must begin to embrace mindfulness, compassion, and interconnectedness, not just within their communities, but across the planet. At the end of the prophecy, she wrote about a moment of awakening that humanity will have to face. The choices we make will create ripples through time, and we may not be able to measure their consequences. These are not just predictions, but a call to action, reminding us that we play an important role in shaping our own destiny and that of the world. See you in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.